Hello everyone, welcome back to channel The Career Exam. In the previous video we had implemented the LangChain, right? So in today's video we will be seeing like why and what is LangGraph. Okay, why LangGraph was needed and what is LangGraph. So let's first understand what was the problem in the previous chatbot that we created using the LangChain, right? Problem for uh, using LangChain. With the previous chatbot means what stage we are in the current chatbot, right? If you see, like in the previous video also I had mentioned, we are still manually managing the memory, right? We were still managing a array, right? Conversation history, right? In which manually we were appending the human message and the AI message, right? You have seen in the previous video, or let me show you again this part. You see here we have still created an array, right? Still we have manually created an array to manage the history, right? And if you see here, after the response is coming, every time we are manually appending in the array list the human message and the AI message, right? So still we have not solved our that purpose, that is uh, kind of automatic saving the memory, right? Every time manually we are appending the messages in the history, right? So that's what I am talking about. So still we are manually managing the memory. So the only problem the only problem in our previous stage, that is stage 3a LangChain solved is, right, it helped us with standardizing the messages, right? The messages, that is human message, system message, right? AI message, right? These are standard message objects that were understandable. I've already talked about this in the previous video, right? Understandable by all the LangChain components, right? LangChain components. As a result, as a result, we didn't require deep parsing the messages. Like you would have seen in the manual memory, we were, let's go to manual memory, we were parsing the history text, right? Converting the chat list to history text uh, string, right? Let me type it down here also. Like we had seen manual memory, we were to parse the history, chat history list to. This is what is the purpose was solved by the LangChain, right? So this problem, this problem, this problem of manual based memory, we will be solving in the upcoming videos by introducing the LangGraph check pointers. Okay. LangGraph check pointers. What is this check pointers? We will see in the upcoming video. Just keep this thing in mind, right? This problem of manual memory we will solve by LangGraph check pointers. We will not need to maintain that list and manually appending the messages. Okay, we will see in the upcoming video. Now, this was the one of the problem we will solve through the LangGraph check pointer. Now, if you see my previous video also, we are as it is as it is storing the messages, the history. Suppose tomorrow our conversation goes to an extent that total messages becomes, let's say, 500. We're thinking we will have all these messages stored as it is the list, right? So if you remember, all these messages are converted to tokens, right? Right, we are seeing in the foundation model generative AI working, like how the response is generated, right? So due to these large messages, what will increase is token consumption will increase, right? Cost will increase, and latency will increase. That is, our model our model response will become little bit slow, getting little bit slow next, getting. So this problem the our problem of token program consumption, this we will be solving by introducing, oh my god, let me tell you, introducing the concept of trimming and the summarization, the LangGraph videos. Okay, what we will do, rather than storing the complete history, we will be storing the meaningful history, or we can say uh, keeping the last 10 messages only, right? This comes into the trimming, or summarizing the previous, kind of summarizing the history, right? The history at at certain interval, thereby no important information will be lost and token consumption will be reduced. First, and token consumption, getting some. Now this was the second problem. Now persistence. See, if you stop our current application, that is, you ran Python LangChain Chatbot.py, and then you again stop, so the conversation that you previously had will be lost, right? Means restart the program, previous conversation lost, right? Because we are not storing our messages in the DB, right? We are not storing, for persistence we need the database, right? We're not storing the messages in the DB currently. So to solve this, we will introduce persistence memory using Postgres SQL in the upcoming LangChain video. The upcoming LangChain video. Getting this was the third problem. Now, what is this no automatic checkpointers? See, suppose your application was running in between, some crash happened. Anything can happen. Let's say exception was not handled, right? Crash happened. When an application crashes, when an exception is not handled, right? We need to handle the application exception. Let's say it was not handled, so some crash happened. So the whole conversation will be lost. Because why will be lost? Because there is no state tracking. There is no state tracking. State tracking. That is at what state currently I am. That is what state currently I am. Are you getting by state what I mean? Let's say now I'm in what stage? I'm in the state of making videos. There can be another state like I'm listening music, right? So different state like messages are maintained at state like at this state when crash had happened. This was the last message getting. So there is no state management, right? No state tracking. So if something crash happens in between, the previous conversation will be lost. So this problem will be solved by the introduction of the LangGraph state by introduction of the state management the graph. Okay, what is the state management? How the state management happens? We will see in the upcoming videos, right? Everything not in single video, right? Otherwise, it will become very clumsy, right? So got it? No automatic checkpoint. So if our application crashes in between, there is no accountability. Whole conversation will be lost because there is no state tracking, right? What was the previous conversation? What was the last message, right? We are just storing it in an array, right? So this problem will be solved by state management in the LangGraph. Okay. And moreover, if you see, we are we are till now we're building a simple chatbot. We need to build now AI application, real-time AI application, real-time AI application. So in that, these things come state machine, conditional routing, right? Multiple agents will be there, routing, retry, human approval, multi-step execution. Like say there are multiple some instructions to give to the chatbot, and there are some stages needs to be followed. Like first do this, then do this. For this step by step, actually state management is required, right? At what state I am. So we will introduce this in the LangGraph video. Okay. Now, what is this LangGraph? So LangGraph is a framework, right? Framework. What is framework? I previously discussed in the video, right? Pre-structure, right? Pre-built some structured format, right? The framework built on top of LangChain to build stateful application. Stateful application means accountability of what state I am currently, what state currently, what is the latest message and everything. Checkpointing by production of state management in the workflow. So how this does is LangGraph. How this does LangGraph has a concept of central state. Okay, LangGraph has a concept of central state that has the accountability of the following. Like, what was the last message? Okay, like, see, there can be multiple users talking to the chatbot, right? So how to maintain, like, what conversation is of what user? Like, suppose there are two guys, let's say Ankit and Sri Prasad. They both are talking to a chatbot, and it happens that Ankit is going in some other conversation and Sri Prasad is going in some other conversation. So they both are entirely separate conversation, right? So there must be some accountability in the chatbot, right? That this conversation of this guy, this conversation is of this guy. So we will introduce thread concept in the LangGraph. You see in the upcoming videos, thread concept, the LangGraph. So LangGraph, we will see that how in the LangGraph we managing the summary, retrieve document, and all. Okay. So this is all for today. I wanted to give you an overview of, like, why LangGraph. Okay, what is the problem that we faced in the previous days, and how through that LangGraph we will be solving, right? So in the upcoming videos, we will start implementing the LangGraph. We will start with basic state implementation. So that's all for today. Keep coding, keep exploring. That ends up. Signing off.